Stone Cold, the Hellraiser is back!
Here we go! Evolution of the Shield!
John Cena versus the Showstopper!
Hulk Hogan and The Rock in the same ring!
You will never take my place at the head of the table!
Undertaker! On the Hell's Gate submission! Oh my God! What?
My God, Michaels! Just kick Cena's head off!
The Monday Night Wars have come to WrestleMania!
It'll be The Rock! It'll be Austin one-on-one!
Third and final, The Undertaker!
Do you believe in miracles?
The streak is over!
Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to WWE Retro on the WWE Podcast on this final day of 2022, December 31st, as I am a day late today, and it's been a tough holiday season in terms of getting to the laptop to record between my day job, my other side job, my family, all this. I did get engaged over the holidays as well, so that's taken up a lot of my time. But I am here a day late to get in a final episode of Retro before the calendar flips to 2023, as I enter my fourth calendar year on this platform with the WWE Podcast, starting all the way back in May of 2019. So coming up on 4 years and I guess 4 or 5 months or so, and I just want to say it's been awesome having you guys welcome me into your headphones and listening to me on your spare time. Obviously, a big thank you to Matt and everybody here at the WWE Podcast making it what it is today. But today, I had this planned before SmackDown last night. I didn't watch all of SmackDown, but I watched what happened in terms of the SmackDown Women's Championship. And Charlotte Flair returning and regaining the SmackDown Women's title. And I'm going to come on here and talk about Ronda Rousey's first run with the WWE, whereas irony would have it is very fitting in terms of what happened last night. So take away everything that happened last night and rewind to 5 years ago. 5 long years ago to early 2018. And you had a landscape of the WWE Women's Division that was arguably never at a better place. You know, you had Charlotte as the SmackDown Women's Champion, really on a good run, kind of barreling towards a match at WrestleMania with who eventually ended up being Asuka. And then on Monday Night Raw, you had Alexa Bliss, who was at the absolute top of her game in 2017 and early 2018. And you had all the 4 horsewomen really kind of blazing their own trail, with the exception of Becky Lynch, who would really explode into the main event scene in early 2018. But you had Sasha Banks, who had a really good initial run on Monday Night Raw after the 2016 brand split, which we talked about last week. You had Bayley onto the main roster. Nia Jax was being pushed in a major way at this time and would eventually win the Women's Championship, the Raw Women's Championship, that is, at WrestleMania 34. Asuka coming up the ranks like a bat out of hell. And it was just a really good spot where the women's division was in about, I would say, 2.5 years into the women's evolution. And then came the Royal Rumble in 2018, where Asuka would win the first ever women's Royal Rumble, only to be one-upped by an incredible and historic debut in the WWE.
With the choice and the opportunity of a lifetime. What? Oh my gosh! The rumors are true! Ronda Rousey is here!
So, Ronda Rousey's debut, I think, was a little underwhelming, primarily because nobody knew what her theme song was. Like, Bad Reputation, and, then you kind of had to read the graphics, and the graphics were very akin to Rowdy Roddy Piper. And I think there was maybe a segment of the WWE fan base that did not know who Ronda Rousey was at all. So maybe the return was a bit, I guess, overestimated or overvalued in terms of what it could mean in terms of a big pop. But for most people, I think of my age or had any kind of idea as to what was going on in the UFC world, we all knew what Ronda Rousey would bring to the table. She comes out, she points at the WrestleMania sign with Charlotte Flair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss in the ring. And semi-awkward, not the best return. I don't think it's exactly what they had envisioned. But all in all, they get Ronda Rousey exposed onto the WWE product for the first time. And a lot of people assumed, myself included, that she would be thrusted into a championship match right away at the WrestleMania. But, as Michael Cole alluded to in that audio clip, there were already seeds planted of Ronda Rousey in the WWE. You rewind 3 years ago to WrestleMania 31, where she joined The Rock in the ring and kind of took out Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. And I don't think this has ever been confirmed, and if it is, my apologies, but I think personally that the initial plan was for her and The Rock to face off against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in a mixed tag team match. Obviously, that was not the case, and it turned out to be Ronda tagging with someone else to face off against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in her first ever WrestleMania contest.
As long as it's not a champion, a current champion, and as long as that person is a member of the active WWE roster, yes.
Okay. Well then, the person I want to choose for my WrestleMania match.
Oh wait! We're going to hear who Ronda is going to face at WrestleMania. I think we need like a big drum roll or something. This gets better and better. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. It's a drum roll.
You.
Stephanie is an executive of this company. Stephanie is the commissioner of Monday Night Raw. She is your boss. You weren't here tonight, Triple H. Yeah, well, surprise, I'm here. You're right. Stephanie is a WWE executive, and she has a contract that states that.
Thank you.
But she also has a second contract as a WWE superstar. I make the matches. You will be facing Ronda at WrestleMania. I know someone else with a second contract, and that's you, Triple H. And I told you after Survivor Series, if you ever attack me again, I'm coming for you. So Ronda, if it's okay with you, it's not going to be you and Stephanie. At WrestleMania, it's going to be Triple H and Stephanie McMahon versus Ronda Rousey and me!
So, obviously a dynamic here with Kurt Angle as the general manager of Raw, Stephanie McMahon as the commissioner of Raw, Triple H as CEO, whatever his on-screen title was at that time. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but Ronda Rousey kind of jumping the gun there and saying you to Stephanie McMahon just as they started the drum roll. As, you know, her cadence, I guess, has improved on the mic since this happened 5 years. It's crazy, it's already been 5 years. But 5 years ago, but still not the best on the mic. So the mixed tag team match is announced here, and that's when we got our first taste as to what we could expect come WrestleMania time.
Calm down now. This doesn't need to go this way. Ease on the fingers there. We're just gonna get out of here. It doesn't need to go down this way.
Oh, Triple H tried another cheap shot. Triple H and Kurt Angle. It's DG blows. And there we go.
She's doing it. Oh, Stephanie from behind. Good decision, Stephanie.
She only bounced for a second.
And now Stephanie running away from Ronda Rousey. Triple H looking for a pedigree on Kurt Angle. Oh, an Angle though. No. The ankle lock. And this time he's got it locked in. Triple H getting a preview of what it may be like at WrestleMania.
Well, he's got to suck in too.
Kurt Angle making Triple H pay. She's not playing. She's not playing at all. Oh, God! Crushing Stephanie.
So the stage is set for WrestleMania 34 with, and look, watching this back here, it kind of shows you that, there was kind of a underwhelming vibe to this match because I think personally you wanted to see The Rock versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon with Ronda Rousey. And Kurt Angle, obviously at this point in time, well past his prime, dealing with a lot of injuries, but it was okay. And it was an okay substitution, that is. But Ronda Rousey, I think, had a lot to learn in the way of learning, promos specifically, her timing, her cadence. And the crowd was still trying to figure out if they wanted to cheer for Ronda Rousey. I think they're still trying to figure that out today, even though she is a full-blown heel at this point. But no matter your feelings about Ronda Rousey on a personal level, her performance at WrestleMania 34 was among the best in the history of the company in terms of first-time ring competitors, especially when you consider that Logan Paul was not in the WWE at this point. Obviously, what Logan Paul has been able to do in his first 3 WWE contests is nothing short of phenomenal. But I think at this point in time, back in 2018, Ronda Rousey really held that title as the best first match person to just pick it up off the street and automatically hit the ground running here. And when the match came at WrestleMania 34, it's fair to say that everyone was very impressed with the outcome of that match.
Her timing has been impeccable so far in this match.
Triple H with a look of disbelief in his face. In her in-ring debut night at WrestleMania, Ronda Rousey gets a This Is Awesome chant from the WWE Universe.
Oh no, the game waited a couple of minutes ago. He ain't waiting now.
This could be awful.
He's not waiting now.
Looking for the pedigree on Rousey. Rousey started it. Oh God, no, you gotta be kidding. Are you serious?
Serious?
She's gonna tap. The game's gonna tap to Rousey. Ronda Rousey with the armbar locked in. Her
Stephanie's still hanging on for dear life. Stephanie's got her hands locked.
It's Stephanie over there again, trying to counter the pressure. Meanwhile, Kurt Angle, moving the ankle after the game.
Stephanie's still hanging in there. Oh!
Not anymore, she's not. Stephanie trying to save his wife. He's trying to help. Ankle lock by Kurt Angle. Stephanie trying to hang on.
Oh my God! Kurt Angle sent crashing into Ronda Rousey.
That was a Triple H pleading with, I should say Stephanie pleading with Triple H. What do we do, she asked. Hunter looking for the pedigree.
They've got a plan, and here it comes.
Pedigree, Corey.
Stereo pedigrees from... Oh no!
Set over the top rope. Stephanie rolled through by Rousey.
Oh no!
Block again.
Stephanie's holding on with everything she's got in her body.
Stephanie blocked again.
Ronda wants to tear Stephanie's arm off.
Stephanie screaming. Rousey positioning. Look at the leverage. Here we go. Oh my God! Oh my God! Stephanie taps. Rousey may have broken her arm.
Here are your winners by submission, Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey.
You just saw Dana White here in the house to celebrate and witness this incredible moment for the new chapter in the career of Ronda Rousey.
I cannot say how impressed I am with the in-ring debut tonight of Ronda Rousey. An absolute...
So, you know, there was a lot of criticism going into this match, but she really blew the doors off the place, in my opinion. I thought that her and Triple H really carried the match. Obviously, Kurt Angle was not in the best ring shape at this time. Stephanie McMahon has never been a 5-star caliber wrestler. You know, she's only wrestled a handful of times in ring. But I thought that even the ring psychology of Ronda Rousey, like that ending where like kind of just staring at Stephanie McMahon pleading with her, please don't break my arm, please don't break my arm. Or just, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. And Ronda just slowly splits the lock between Stephanie's hands and then puts her in the armbar to get the submission victory. And it really got the crowd behind her as well. I'll speak for myself personally. Ronda Rousey really, really made this, made you want to get behind her. And then you see what she does later on into the summer as she goes up against Nia Jax, which was a big time collision because Nia Jax had just won the Raw Women's Championship that night at WrestleMania. And you're starting to get behind, like, okay, like, it's babyface versus babyface. Ronda's going to take down this giant, this big powerhouse in the women's division. And then Alexa Bliss cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase to take the victory away from Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which ultimately leads to the build of Ronda versus Alexa for Ronda's second crack at the Raw Women's Championship. But this time, Ronda would not be denied and would finally reach the top of the women's division on Monday Night Raw.
Bliss going to take advantage, or at least attempt to. Look in the eyes of Ronda Rousey like a woman possessed. Absolute intensity. Not even phased. Really, the look on Bliss's face. I'm a little surprised she took the bait. Bliss knows where she's at anymore.
striking to death. And now Rousey. And Alexa Bliss took advantage. A kick right to the shoulder and then a right hand to the jaw of Rousey. And I think that just angered Ronda. There's no doubt Michael made her mad. Oh, face first goes Bliss. How intimidating is Ronda? With the rights and left, the body shots to Bliss.
I'm scared to death
Just watch it. The judo throw. And another by Rousey.
Ronda just ragdolling Bliss. Every move, there's a line to go with it.
Again!
I mean, this is impressive.
An absolutely dominating performance.
I mean, at this point, what can Alexa Bliss do? She's got to figure something out.
She may tap out soon because Rousey's ready for the armbar.
Look at the arm. Oh, look at the arm.
Bliss screaming and Nikki. Did you see it? That was completely out of joy. Oh my God, and now it's locked in. Alexa Bliss has to tap out. Ronda Rousey's done it. Ronda Rousey's the Raw Women's Champion.
Here is your winner, and the new Raw Women's Champion, Ronda Rousey.
The first woman in history to win a UFC championship and the WWE Women's title.
So Ronda, for all intents and purposes, squashes Alexa Bliss, like completely squashes her. And, you know, in a lot of ways, if you look back, this is the start of the downturn of Alexa Bliss. Like, she never really kind of fully recovered from this loss to Ronda Rousey. I don't believe she's held a women's championship since this, not including the tag team titles. But this was kind of like the unofficial end, and, you know, this is 4.5 years ago, of Alexa Bliss's run atop the WWE Women's Division. So, I mean, in that respect, it is kind of bittersweet looking back on it, but it is also cool to see Ronda win her first ever women's title. But what else happened this night? Well, Becky Lynch, quote, heel turned, i.e., got over super big with the crowd and started the mega run that in a lot of ways is still going 4.5 years later. SummerSlam 2018 was the night that Becky Lynch just completely blew the doors off of any kind of ceiling she had as a character before and took herself to brand new heights. And obviously we have the Raw versus SmackDown build to Survivor Series 2018, which was supposed to be Becky Lynch versus Ronda. They built that like incredibly, and Becky Lynch gets concussed, obviously, because of the Nia Jax, quote, face breaker moment, which was completely stupid and proved how reckless of a competitor she was. And we got the first ever installment of Ronda versus Charlotte instead, which again, as I said at the beginning of the show, is very fitting given what happened last night. And then you have Ronda go all the way until until WrestleMania, holding the Raw Women's Championship. And at the Royal Rumble, she successfully defends her title against Sasha Banks, a very underrated match that doesn't get talked about a lot and doesn't get talked about enough. But what else happened at the Royal Rumble 2019? Becky Lynch drops her SmackDown Women's Championship to Asuka. Or, actually, that's not exactly what happened. She had dropped the Women's Championship to Asuka at TLC December 2018. And then in the rematch for her title against Asuka at the Royal Rumble 2019, she unsuccessfully faces off against Asuka and does not regain her championship. She enters the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, and wins it to book herself into the main event of WrestleMania. The next night on Monday Night Raw, She says she doesn't have to wait to make her decision and puts herself into the main event on Monday Night Raw to face Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. Now, obviously, what happened between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 35 is very, I guess, how could you put this lightly, is very, I guess, questionable, to put it very, very lightly, and to be nice in a lot of ways. Because they had this match that had been organically building since October at their fingertips that everyone wanted to see. And I'm convinced that the reason they did what they did, and what they did was insert Charlotte Flair, who then brought the SmackDown Women's Championship into the match and became a triple threat match and the first ever women's match to main event of WrestleMania, which it should have been, 100%. I'm convinced they inserted Charlotte Flair because they didn't want Ronda to get booed out of the building. And I think that if you had Charlotte Flair out of the match, Ronda would have been the de facto heel because everyone was so behind Becky at this point in time. And you bring in Charlotte, who brings in the SmackDown Women's title. There's your heel. There's the woman that everyone's going to boo because she, quote, shouldn't be there. She was literally put in there by Vince McMahon. And that was a whole weird build as well, where, like, Ronda got suspended and stripped of the title. Or no, Becky got suspended and stripped of the title or her main event match. And then she had to say sorry to Triple H and Stephanie in order to get that match back. And then Vince comes out and doesn't accept her apology. It was all very bizarre. It was very stupid. I found they made Becky look like a very spoiled brat in this program. Building up to it, they really fumbled it. They overcomplicated something that had already written itself. Then Ronda comes out. She has that classic line of "damn the man, screw the woo," and attacks Charlotte and Becky Lynch after she initially refused to defend her title against anyone other than Becky Lynch when Becky Lynch did get suspended. As, like I said, they were still really trying to book Ronda as a babyface. Here's the thing, is they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to book Becky into a position where everyone was going to cheer for her and everyone was going to be behind her and ultimately win the title and win the big one at WrestleMania 35 because that's what everyone wanted. But at the same time, they didn't want Ronda to get booed. So instead of having a situation where you have babyface versus babyface and you let the crowd decide who they're going to cheer, kind of like Shawn Michaels versus John Cena at WrestleMania 23, or Rock versus Austin at WrestleMania 17 before the eventual heel turn of the former, they tried to kind of force feed a heel into the match to protect Ronda Rousey. That's my theory of it. They really did not want Ronda to get damaged by this as a babyface, so they fully forced Charlotte into the contest to give the crowd a full-blown heel to cheer against and to boo. So we get to WrestleMania 35. You have the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Raw Women's Championship on the line. Charlotte, Ronda, Becky main eventing the first ever women's main event at a WrestleMania. And the culmination of the contest was about as underwhelming as the build to it.
And here we go.
Well, if this is rising, you Becky Lynch, you better check your chin, man.
Going pound for pound with Rousey.
Oh, Rousey just takes out Becky.
Down goes the man. Rousey is about to take it all.
Wait, that belt lay down. Rousey now allowing her to get to her feet. Now she finally does.
Struggling to post and put the weight needed on her
Climbers pin.
left leg.
Becky Lynch. Shoulders down. Shoulders down. Becky Lynch is the winner. Take all and is both Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. Ronda Rousey doesn't think her shoulders are down.
I mean, I was thinking it'd be worth the replay, but Ronda Rousey was looking for Piper's pick. To her credit, Becky Lynch, it looks like, was able to shift her weight and pin Ronda's shoulders to the back.
I think Becky got her there.
Well, Ronda Rousey has suffered her first pinfall loss in WWE. Becky Lynch takes it all tonight.
So Ronda gets rolled up, I guess you could say, as she was about to go for Piper's Pit. And it was such a bad finish that Michael Cole and the commentators really had to go out of their way to explain to the crowd or the audience watching on television what happened. It was a very unfortunate finish, and I just think overall the build to this match wasn't that great. Now, we thought that we were going to get a correction of this match at this year's WrestleMania. It seemed that it was going to be Ronda versus Becky and correct the wrong that we saw in 2019. But now it seems like they're changing course with Charlotte winning the SmackDown Women's Championship last night on SmackDown. And overall, it seems that they're going to go with Ronda versus Rhea Ripley, it sounds like. So I don't know exactly where they're going to go with things. But if they actually do not do Becky versus Ronda, it will be a massive disappointment. But all in all, I thought that Ronda's first year with the company was pretty good. She had a good initial run. And her most recent run that started last year at the Royal Rumble has been okay, but a little underwhelming. But let's see what the future holds before revisiting covering the rest of her career. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed Ronda Rousey's initial run with the WWE. As always, you can get me on Twitter at ADamarco25. You can get Matt on Twitter at wrestling_audio, or you can email him each and every week for the WWE podcast mailbag. Enjoy your weekends, everyone. Happy New Year. I will speak to you in 2023.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.